Hi North Haven. This video is going to cover the visualizer software for IPEVO for Microsoft. And this is going to be the version that you get in the Microsoft Store. You're going to want to go to this page. The easiest way to get to this page is going to be to scan the QR code on the base of your IPEVO camera. From here, you're going to come down to the compatible software area and click IPEVO Visualizer. The main thing on this site though is the download, so click free download. This one is going to cover the one from the Microsoft Store, which, believe it or not, is slightly different from the Windows 10 download that doesn't come from the Microsoft Store. I don't know why they're different. So if you choose to download the one from the Microsoft Store, you're going to click download here. That's going to open the Microsoft Store and it will work just like the Chrome Store for the apps and the extensions. It'll ask you if you want to get it, and then you have to click that and then click download. The nice thing about that is that you won't have as many steps as you would with the Windows 10 that doesn't come from the Microsoft Store. Once you're done downloading it, the easiest way to access it is click this window down at the left. And if you just added it, it will be here at the top. If it's not up there at the top, you can just type IPEVO in and it will come up. Now I have a picture here, but when I first did it, I didn't have a picture. It was a blank screen. To get the camera to show up, what you're going to do is come click the window at the bottom left and then type in privacy. That will bring up your privacy settings right here. In the privacy settings, you're going to come down and click camera, and then you're going to scroll down until it says choose which Microsoft Store apps can access your camera. Come down to IPEVO Visualizer, and you're going to switch that to on. So it may default to off, and once you click it on, it will show up. You may have to close it and then come back and reopen it again. So once you're in here, there are a lot of different settings. If you just want to do a basic recording, all you have to do is it should default to your IPEVO. If it doesn't, come up here to this button. It says select camera. Click this down area and you're going to click the V4K and that should come to your IPEVO. Click this up arrow, change it to record because it defaults to camera. Click the camcorder icon. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. And then just click select folder. It will start recording as soon as you click OK. When you're done, click stop recording. It will remind you where it saved it, even though you just entered that. And then you can go to that folder and then it should be right at the top and you'll have your video. Now the other settings that are available is you have different filters. I honestly am not sure if any of these are actually going to be that usable. You can do manual focus by clicking and dragging the focus here if you're not happy with how it's autofocusing, but honestly, I like the autofocus, and you can do it physically on the camera over here, or if you click right here on the bottom right, there's an autofocus there as well. So you can do it from inside this app. White balance is just going to change the warmth or coolness. Exposure, so you can make it brighter or less bright. There's also an exposure button on the actual camera that you can click. So either way works. You can change the resolution ratio. So for instance, since this is a whole sheet of paper, if I come up to the 2592 by 1944, I have a better setup with how my desk is set up, and that gets my whole view. You can also just click fill screen, which is going to kind of widen it out a little bit. I don't feel like that really optimizes it, but it's an option. This rotates it. It also does a mirror image if you don't want to have to move the camera head. Zoom lets you zoom in, and then you can click and drag to different parts of the image. This we already went over. This is how you change your camera. You can also do editing of how it looks to make it a little bit clearer. You can also use the keystones, which just kind of tilt it. Up here in the settings, it will default to focus and snapshot being selected so that it makes sounds. I don't like having the sound, so I uncheck those. You can also choose a file saving location so that all of your videos are always going to save in the same space. So when you do that, instead of asking you where to save it, when you record it, it'll just automatically save it there. It might be a good idea to save it to your drive automatically. You can also change the file name format. So I have mine to save to the year, the month, and the day. And then it just has a little 5-digit identifier there so that if you do more than one on the same day, it'll be there. but you can always set it to always ask. And that way, before you make the video, it'll ask you right when it asks you where you want to save it, what you want the name to be, and you can name it before you take the video so you don't get confused later about which video is which. Other than that, the snapshot timer lets you choose how many seconds before it takes a snapshot so you can take pictures. Recording lets you choose which microphone it uses. So if you don't like the IPEVO microphone, you can also use one of the other microphones available to your computer. There is a slow motion setting, so you can change how slow that video goes. Same thing with the time lapse. There is a time lapse feature if you want to do time lapse videos. Up here, you can make more than one version. So the only reason I see for having more than one copy of the window open, I saw someone do this and I think this kind of makes sense. Let's say I still want students to be able to see this image, but I want to go to the next picture. What I can do is I can click this snowflake down here to freeze this image, and then I can come over here and I can continue writing over here, and notice they can only see it on one and not the other. Or if I put a second page down, so now I've got 2 pages showing instead of just one on my computer. And that button again was this one right here with the 2 kind of displays. Mode makes it a little bit of a simpler user interface. So now instead of all those buttons over here on the left, I have this menu button with just some of them. And then over here, I have some of my tools, which we're going to go over in a little bit. And I still have these available, which we'll also go over in a little bit. So we already went over the snowflake, and the snowflake freezes it. You can also do picture in picture. So if you want to do a video, these might be an easier way to take videos than some of the other versions we've been doing right now. I can change the camera here. And I feel like this is a little bit easier than the WeVideo for taking camera and camera videos, because you can see what both look like now and you don't have to sync them up. You could still then upload it into WeVideo to do extra editing or to add like a title frame or something, but I think this will probably be easier. The other option, and I don't know why it's not right next to the video and video, but it isn't, is you can click this up arrow and then click right here to split the screen. And it did default to the same camera for both, but then I can come here, I can click the menu icon, click the camera, and then again I can switch it. So now the students can see me on this side and they can see whatever work I'm showing on the left. Another option you have, which I think will be nice, especially if you're doing reading assignments, is you have this line. So if you're reading a book with your students, as you're reading, you can move this line for them to be able to see things better. The other option, if you click this icon a second time, is it does the screen masking. So that's an even more kind of extreme to make it easier for the students to follow along with you. Another option is this grid icon. So it starts with just the 1, but then it keeps on going up. From here, these are your different recording options. So right now it's on basic record. You can also do slow-mo, and it works just like the normal. You would just take your video, and then when it uploads, the video that's in your folder will be a slow motion. This is the time lapse. So if you want to do a time lapse video of something for your students, that's what you would use. There's a QR code scanner and barcode scanner right here. So the next option is the text to speech, and that's right here. I'm not going to recommend it. I have played with it. I have watched their tutorial on it, and it is not functioning the way it is supposed to. We do have read and write text to speech. You can always make a PDF of something, and that's actually an intermediary step that they suggest for their product anyways. They don't suggest that you do the text to speech directly from the live cam. So after the text to speech is the scan document. And from here you can click this little cursor to select the area to crop, and you can choose either the whole picture or part of it. You'll take your picture, it'll tell you the page count. If you have a second page, so for instance, let's say this is my second page, you can change the outline if you need to, but if you place it right on top, you might not need to. You can take a second picture, it'll tell you the page count again, and you can just keep doing that until you've gotten all the way through your whole document. And then when you're done, you click PDF one more time, and it's going to automatically save that file if you had it set up to save in a specific spot automatically. The next tool is Magnify, which just lets you click and drag this box that will magnify just a part of your document. The next one is Stop Motion. The next and last option is the split screen, which we already went over. So those are all the tools in the Microsoft Visualizer from the Microsoft App Store.